I'm Micki.
Hi, I'm Kat.
We are Cat and Mouse Astrology. We got a full moon in Cancer, and it's opposite Pluto.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, something deep, something fun, something real coming our way, maybe kind of quick, maybe kind of slow. Pluto's moving a slow.
True.
Yeah.
Could be building for a while.
Could be building for a while. We at least have some culmination coming over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. So do you have anything you want to say? Any just reflections that, off the top of your head before we get into our chart?
No, let's just look at the chart.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up here. See if I can do it properly. I always lose it. There it is. Aha. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So a couple things. This is January 17th of 2022. It's at 27 degrees of Cancer is our moon. And this full moon heightens the plot twist. We've got a power struggle probably highlighted somewhere in our personal lives or in our, Capricorn and or Cancer area of life in general. So home, or where our aspirations lie, where our ambitions are, government, that sort of thing, the things that Capricorn highlights. Mm-hmm. So there's a discussion and a review going on because Mercury's going back and Venus is going back. And so there's a revaluing as well as a re-evaluating. Isn't that interesting, that word? Value is in the word evaluate.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that we're just reviewing. It's not that just that we're reevaluating. We're actually revaluing something.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe a review of where we are or are not balanced can reveal an opportunity for transformation. And that's what the Pluto's all about there.
Yeah, yeah.
I kept it pretty simple here. We've got a loose square between Uranus and Saturn and Mercury. It's a wanting square, but we're going to see Mercury come back and square Uranus again in a few weeks. So there's a loose square there because Uranus is an ongoing square all year, but it doesn't ever reach exact. So. Mm-hmm. So that and the full moon are the only things I've really highlighted. What other aspects do we have going on there that I didn't really bring to our attention?
Well, we have a square between Mars and Neptune.
Yes.
So that could be some tension or some change in your ambition and drive and passion as it relates to your imagination and creativity.
Excellent. Yes.
And then what else do we have? There's also something with Chiron. It's pretty close square between Venus and Chiron as well.
Oh, that's right. We do have a pretty close square between Venus and Chiron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Chiron here at 8 degrees and Venus here at 8 degrees.
No, that's Mercury.
No, oh, sorry, Mercury and Venus here at 13 degrees, excuse me.
Right.
There's little antennas on Mercury. That's how we know it's Mercury.
Yeah.
No antennas on Venus. So yeah, that is a pretty almost an exact square. It's close. I mean, it's within orb, almost within. It is within orb. Right. 5 degrees here. Yes.
Right. So a square between Venus and Chiron would be like a change or some tension between. Well, Venus is everything beauty and relationships and partnerships and pleasure, and Chiron is the wounding and healing.
Right.
So that you make that in your life. And since you pointed out Mercury, there's also a sextile between Chiron and Mercury.
That's what I was just thinking of when I pointed that out, that we actually have a sextile there going on between Chiron and Mercury, and that's interesting. It's fairly close. So the Mercury is really involved in this as well as the Venus, because they're both retrograde. So they're both fairly powerful right now. If speaking louder, maybe not powerful as in their own power, but more loud, communicating to us more loudly as they are closer to the earth, if you will.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And in
Because they're on the side of the sun.
Yeah, yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Sabian symbols for the sun and the moon and Pluto here?
Yeah. Okay, so the full moon is at 27 Cancer, and that happens to be my natal Jupiter. And it is a violent storm in a canyon filled with expensive homes. That's Cancer 27. Micki, I lost you. Are you still there? There you are. Okay. And then 27 Capricorn is a mountain pilgrimage. 26 Capricorn is Pluto, nature spirits dancing in the midst of the waterfall. I think it's super interesting that we have this sun and moon symbols on today for today's full moon, and it's happening on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Ooh, that is interesting.
So we have, like, the sun is at the degree of a mountain pilgrimage, which is a very sacred thing, a very spiritual thing to do. And one of the most famous things from MLK in that speech is like, I've been to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And then we have the moon at a violent storm in a canyon filled with expensive homes. And I think that one of the things that this country likes to forget about Martin Luther King Jr. is that he was supremely anti-capitalist.
Yes.
A huge advocate for the poor, which was when he was killed, was when he was organizing the Poor People's Campaign.
Right.
You know, and he talked about, we like to whitewash over his whole discourse on the three evils of US society, of capitalism, militarism, and racism. You know, like, we'll focus on the racism, but forget about everything he said about capitalism and militarism and how that destroys the soul of the nation too.
What a brilliant man.
Yeah.
And how interesting, yes, that it's a time now of reviewing, you know, what he was all about in reality.
Yeah. As we have these retrogrades.
Exactly.
And the canyon's filled with expensive homes, and it just makes you feel like, let's eat the rich.
Well, and it's, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the Venus retrograde, because it's, you know, we've been in Venus, Venus has been in Capricorn since December.
Mm-hmm.
And Venus has been retrograde since late December. So we've got Venus reviewing, reprioritizing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Venus is all about values. So Venus is reprioritizing. It's going back and it's reviewing those things in the Capricorn areas of our personal lives, as well as in the Capricorn area of life in general, which is the government.
Yeah.
And with Venus beautifying and valuing, reviewing those things that are beautiful and those things that we value in this
that we love.
And
those
what?
Those things that we love.
Those things we love. Those things we love. And what is it reviewing? It's reviewing power structures and balance and justice.
Mm-hmm.
And so that fits perfectly with what you were just saying about, you know, what was Martin Luther King about? Seeking.
It's about restructuring American society and global society
to
be
beautify
more
it.
Love and justice.
Exactly. So reprioritizing values about the areas of our aspirations, what we value and how we work, or how we are involved in the government and what we aspire to.
Or how we structure our lives.
How we structure our lives, exactly.
Yeah.
And a review of how we acquire and use power, and how we deal with injustice and how we deal with imbalance.
Right. And Venus went retrograde right as she was conjunct Pluto.
Exactly. So we have Pluto and Venus conjunct 3 times.
Mhm.
We've already had 2 of those conjunctions. So we've got the 3rd conjunction is coming up on March 1st and 2nd is the 3rd one. So Venus, right now, there's a story of Venus. Venus is in plight. Venus is in a, she's not a happy, she's not her normal, happy, joyful self.
Mhm.
First off, she's been in Capricorn, which is, she doesn't like that very well. Capricorn is kind of cold, it's ambitious. She'd much rather be in, Pisces, which she's headed for. She'd
Right.
love to be in Pisces, and she's going to get there as quick as she can, but she's headed away from Pisces now. Oh my God. So she's stuck back in Capricorn after running into Pluto twice now. And what she's revaluing is all that stuff that's being dredged up that we've talked about before, that kind of underbelly of our governmental structures, the underbelly of how we're valuing things in our personal lives as well. And
We're
so she's
devaluing things.
Devaluing things. So she's really looking at that as that's been dredged up, and she may be trying to beautify it, but it's really kind of hard to beautify and clean up something that's, really ancient and long held, as some of this wound is.
Yeah, she's in her stripping down phase, right? Like this is the part of Venus's sojourn into the underworld where she's Inanna and she has to remove things from herself.
Exactly. This is Venus's most intense and least powerful phase, I would say. Where she's not acting in her normal way of being able to give us the beauty that she can often impart. And
Right.
since she's maybe reviewing how things need to be beautified. But that's only part of her story, because in addition to going back through Capricorn and hitting on Pluto twice, which really is like getting carried into the underworld, right? She's also, right after she hits Pluto again, she's going to be trapped between the malefics. So she's going to be
chart and show us.
Yeah, she's going to be trapped between the malefics.
As in Pluto and Saturn?
Right. So here's Venus up here.
She's in the pink square.
She's the pink square, and she's going to go back a little bit farther. Then she's going to come up here and she's going to hit Pluto. And as she keeps on moving forward, before she even gets into Aquarius, Mars is going to catch up with her. So Mars is chasing Venus right now.
As it goes, yeah.
Yeah, as it goes. And Mars is going to chase, and they're going to play this little game where they are almost conjunct for a while, and then they're going to be, bam, exact. The Mars and Venus lovers are going to hit on March 4th and 5th. That's right after the Pluto conjunction. And then the whole month of March sees Venus and Mars dancing together within 4 degrees orb.
And all through Aquarius?
All through Aquarius.
Oh,
well, on March 28th, Venus pulls ahead of Saturn and pulls out of the conjunction, it pulls away from the conjunction with Mars. And between April 6th and May 2nd, we have this glorious time to look forward to. I will point out to anybody who wants to plan for something lovely like a vacation or a staycation or just a little joyful time, where you've got both Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter all in Pisces for a wee little period of time, going yip, yip, hooray.
And it's a May Day party.
It's a May Day party.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's something to look, I mean, this is kind of a dark, dark nights here. What is that? Not Dog Day Afternoons, Dark Night of the Soul.
Dark Night of the Soul.
I'm thinking of Dark Night of the Soul because, this is Pluto, Venus, this is some deep stuff.
Yes,
She goes into the underworld and then meeting up with Mars.
Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, there's some, but there's some vitality added with Mars and Venus together.
Oh yeah.
And that vitality, when they pull beyond Saturn, I think that we're pulling, into something that's going to feel a lot better for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The other interesting thing here, and I'll ask for you to go over some Sabian symbols here in a second, is Mercury's retrograde. So we haven't gotten the full story of this whole thing because Mercury's pulling back to tell us about this valuation, this revaluation,
Yeah.
how we're re-evaluating and this whole Venus journey. So Venus is still going back. As Venus goes forward again and pulls into new territory, we're going to learn about, what was dredged up from those hidden areas that this full moon highlights. So time-wise, the new moon of February 1st is likely to give us some real enlightenment. Between now and then is a good time to kind of work towards, clearing out closets, clearing out cobwebs, cleaning up stuff that, needs fixing and repairing and that sort of stuff, so we can actually move forward when Mercury starts to go direct in February.
Mm-hmm.
And we can kind of move, we're not beyond it with Venus until like I said, April. April, when it moves into Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of a long haul. There's a big story here. What do you have as the Sabian symbols for Venus right now?
Venus. Oh, Venus is, we've talked about this one before, a fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence.
Ooh. Read that again.
A fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence.
That's fascinating.
It's a good one for everything we just talked about, the need to reevaluate things. How are you going to reevaluate things if you don't take the time to really think about it?
Exactly. That's really perfect. It's right on.
It's right on.
What are some of the other Sabian symbols that we should pay attention to?
Trying to find Mercury. Mercury is a flag scene turning into an eagle.
Oh, that's interesting. We've had that before too.
Right,
because we have Mercury in retrograde. It's already been over this spot, or we had Saturn on this spot a month or so ago.
Something, I don't remember what it was, but yeah, we had a month where it was like there were 3 different symbols within the Sabian, 3 different planets were on something about a flag and an eagle.
Exactly.
Some variety of that form. This is the one that's being seen. So there's like a third thing, an observer in the position of Mercury.
And that's real interesting. That's in the house of the people. That's in the Aquarius. That's an Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we, the people, are, that symbolism is for we, the people.
Yeah. And the eagle is a total symbol for the people within the United States and lots of places.
Right.
I know that Mexico has an eagle on its flag, and I feel like the eagle is really important in Russia. And it was in Nazi Germany. So
Sure.
There's all kinds of symbols for the eagle.
Right. I mean,
all kinds of things too. So.
Right. But as a mythographer, that there's a broader symbolism for the eagle and the height, seen from great heights, and the strength of the talons and all that.
Right.
But it is, I've read some commentary that, everyone around the world, many around the world are looking to see what happens to the United States this year, to see if we can hold on to our republic.
Right.
Authoritarianism.
Right.
If we fail, that has a huge impact on every other budding democracy or anyone trying to maintain a democracy anywhere on the planet. So then that eagle's got to hold on to the flag is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't
That's a good
consider
point,
myself all that patriotic in many ways, but the symbolism of the eagle holding on to the flag feels important, feels like ancestrally important,
Well, it's a flag turning into an eagle.
even more. Because then,
It's much more like freedom, because a flag is very much like I'm tied, like I'm marking my spot. I've claimed my identity and my location. And then to have it turn into something that's not bound to the earth, like a flag would be, not territorial like that.
the flag turning into a scorpion would be a whole different symbology. But the eagle again is the higher form of the Scorpio sign.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes me think again of some of the dichotomies that not just people in the United States are going through, but that we are dealing with as a planet in this area of, I call it the era of projectionism.
Oh, wow.
You
You
know,
want to say more about that?
what?
You want to say more about that?
Well, it seems like it's well beyond something that's just with one person, even a person in power. It's something that we're all dealing with in our life.
Mm.
And most of us thought we outgrew it when we were like 6 or 7. What is that little saying? Sticks to me or slops on you? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is something about communicating, seeing in the other what we refuse to see in ourselves. And it's an important time for us to do shadow work. And I think that that's what Pluto's all about.
It is. And to have Venus and Mercury retrograde as across Pluto. It's a very,
That's right.
very shadow work kind of time.
Exactly. Let's see what is of value, as we clean out the wound, what's stuck in that wound. Is there something about, did you see the movie, Don't Look Up?
I saw the very end of it. I saw like the last 20 minutes. I walked in on the last 20 minutes.
Okay, well, don't give it away. Don't give it away to people that are watching. But yeah, that movie really stuck with me because it seems so, well, it really fits this Plutonic theme.
Yeah.
Because it's stuff
that were ridiculous, but so accurate.
So accurate. Yes. And anyway, go watch that movie, anybody who hasn't seen it yet. There's something.
There's that violent storm in the canyon full of expensive houses.
Yeah.
I want it.
Well, what sign was that? Was that the sun or the moon?
That's the moon in Cancer.
The moon in Cancer. Read that one more time.
A violent storm in a canyon filled with expensive homes.
So it's just too spot on. We just had a tsunami.
You're right.
Cancer is a water sign.
You're right.
Pluto dredges up
underground volcano.
This was
Or
caused
not
by a volcano.
Exploded. Yeah.
Exploded. I mean, sometimes this stuff is absolutely literal.
It's bizarre how literal it can be.
It's bizarre how literal it is.
Yeah.
But then it's, we can look at it in our own lives as, you might have a water leak, or again, something that's hidden is exposed and it might make you cry. This doesn't happen just on one level. There's many different levels that this may impact people's lives. And where is Cancer for you, and where is Capricorn for you? What house does this fall in? And that's how you can get a personal meaning and address this in your personal life as opposed to in a broader. We're having a Pluto return in the U.S. and it's going to be February. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't find it. I think I wrote it down further. Let me scroll down. Did I put it down here? Pluto return. No, that's it. Sorry.
That's okay. We've talked about it before. It's coming up.
We've talked about it before, but we are having a Pluto return. It'll hit 3 times over the course of the next year. And we're also, Uranus just stationed direct.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
That's, again, giving us a lot of power to change. And we're having a nodal shift.
Wait, did Uranus station direct at this, like around the same time as the volcano exploded?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we're just,
Yes.
yeah, we're right on the Uranus station yesterday. So maybe it was a couple days. When was the volcano? Like 3 days ago?
I think it was, yeah, 2 or 3. I'm not sure.
So, and then the nodal shift is happening now.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, what that we have the nodes of the moon are moving from Sagittarius and Gemini, where they have been for a year and a half. And now they're going into Scorpio and Taurus. The nodes move backwards.
Right.
They're right now at 0 degrees and will be shifting back over the course of the next days. What do we have as a Sabian symbol? What Sabian symbol did you do for the nodes?
The North Node is still at a glass bottom boat reveals undersea wonders.
Nice.
Which we talked about last time. And the South Node at retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories.
Oh my, that's disturbing to me.
Well, maybe not. Maybe they're reevaluating things.
Well,
Maybe they're having conversations that are like, that's, oh, I don't remember it that way. Oh, I'd forgotten about that entirely.
it'd be very interesting to see how this, we're getting a reevaluate. Read them both again.
A glass bottom boat, this is the North Node, so this is where we're headed, the direction we're going. A glass bottom boat reveals undersea wonders, which is very Plutonic as well.
Yeah.
And retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories, which is very retrograde.
And that's the South Node, what we're getting rid of.
Yeah, that's what we're getting rid of.
So I can't help but think, and I know that there are many ways again to view this, and it can be personal as well as political, but in the United States, we've just had an expose of militia groups that got together to overthrow our country.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we just discovered that it wasn't all just January 6th. January 6th was just like an accidental blip. And that had January 6th not happened, they might have actually carried out their nefarious plot. But this glass bottom boat, the direction we're headed in, is showing us what some people were trying to do, and they were willing to get rid of the things that are dear in a democracy, like a vote counts,
Right.
to put a dictator in place like they did in previous places and are doing in places around the world.
Right.
So that's rather an obvious, again, example of these symbols. What's a way this can be described in a personal life rather than in a public sense?
Well, I mean, you could look at it just as like your comrades. If you like, it sometimes can be really fun to have conversations with people that you've known for a really long time and you reminisce about things in the past. And like frequently I have conversations like this and it's like, I do not remember it that way at all. You have a totally different memory of what happened for me. And then you can share memories and fill in pieces. And so that's kind of never a bad thing to do.
But that's something we're letting go of in our personal lives as well.
Well, so then you're letting go of like the stories you've been telling yourself because they might not be true. Or they're at least not complete. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to remember that our memories probably aren't complete and totally accurate. And so maybe we need to be in this retrograde period where Venus is getting rid of things that she's held on to for a while. It might be a good time to try to let go of the stories that you've been carrying around that aren't necessarily serving you, that maybe weren't even all that true to begin with, or that you don't need to carry forward.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So it's real interesting with the, can you read our Uranus Sabian symbol too?
The Uranus is at a Red Cross nurse.
Yeah, so we're getting some help there.
Yeah.
In our change.
Right.
A little bit of assistance here.
Yeah, that triage nurse.
I'm going to scroll down a little bit just to sum up the symbolism in this different way. You know, again, the moon is opposite the sun at 27 degrees and Pluto at 26 degrees. And a general interpretation might be the underbelly of authority. Oops, there's not authority. Authority is exposed, revealing a power imbalance. And you know, sometimes I can spell and sometimes I can't. Clearly, this is an instance of when I can't. Run spell check. Run spell check, Micki. A question might be, how is safety and security threatened by hidden ambitions? So that could be both personal and in a larger, you know, sense. The time frame 2 weeks after January 17th, as we come up to the new moon on February 1st, we're likely to see the culmination of what this is about, but also throughout 2022. This is going to impact us through this Venus playing out and Mars playing out. This story is going to go on throughout the year.
Yeah.
But this, and then of course we, you know, we've got several different things to think about. We've got the full moon again in Cancer, moon representing emotions. What's, you know, we're receptivity, yin, it's passive, it's female. In Cancer, that represents the home and the hearth. You know, there's something about security and tradition in this moon. And being opposite Pluto, you know, we may be feeling there may be some intense power struggle, intense, you know, desire or repulsion about the transformation and the rebirth. And again, some exposing of that subconscious, you know, what we're seeing through the bottom of that glass boat is being exposed here.
Right. I mean, yeah, like I tend to think of like a glass bottom boat and underseas wonders as being like something really beautiful and like coral reefs and stuff, but it might not be. It might be icky things.
Well, we might, you know, be coming along a coral reef and then we see a, you know, a ship submerged.
Yeah.
And learn something that we didn't know before about, you know, something we didn't, that explains something.
Right.
And the fact that the new moon on February 1st is square Uranus coming up.
Oh, that's going to be good.
That lets us know that that we are turning a corner of change. You know, there's going to be a need for change that this portends. Let's put it that way.
And so in February 1st is Imbolc.
Right.
And I'm guessing that it's also going to be the Chinese New Year and the Persian New Year.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
I think that's true.
Well, that's very fascinating. The symbolism here is also really interesting, you know, both in what you talked about with MLK and with the fact that we did just have a violent storm that probably wiped out some expensive houses. I think that's probably actually accurate.
In Colorado, we had that too.
Yeah, and well, there's been water, you know, Cancer, water impacting us, you know, in the storms over the last few weeks. So we've also got this Pluto thing that we've talked about, love and relationship patterns being reviewed, and the Sabian symbols. This is the fire worshiper meditating on the ultimate realities of existence that we talked about already. And then the Uranus square, which will be exact October, not exact, it will be within orb, 3 degrees of orb on October of 2022 this year. So that'll be our final Uranus square Saturn. And that's, you know, will lead us out of this change period.
That's right before the election.
Yeah.
No, I don't have high hopes.
I'm hoping that this woman watering flowers in her garden and, you know, this new inspiration, these symbols, you know, will give us an opportunity. If we're exposing all this stuff now, you know, maybe there's some hope that we'll be able to, you know, do the plowing that's necessary to get that garden going again and get some new inspiration to. I am inspired by the people who have demonstrated loyalty to an ideal of democracy.
Yeah.
Many of those that we hear stories about are of a different ideology than mine,
Right.
but what they do is have integrity. And there's something very Venusian about integrity.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting stuff. I think this is a fascinating full moon that feels very, I'm going to stop our share.
Okay.
It feels much like a culmination. That maybe a needed culmination that can help bring us to a different space. Feels like we've been kind of stuck in a loop for a while.
Yeah. Like I think it's because we're wrapping up our Venus retrograde,
Exactly.
is my sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Was there another Sabian symbol you were going to share? Because I don't think we looked at them all.
We didn't, but I think those are the main ones. I mean, we still had that Jupiter T-square with the nodes. We didn't talk about Jupiter, which is for Pisces, heavy car traffic on a narrow isthmus linking two seaside resorts.
Ooh.
Which is kind of like a symbol of being stuck.
Read that one again. This is Jupiter in between the nodes.
Jupiter in between the nodes. And it's a symbol of two seaside resorts, the nodes, with a narrow isthmus full of traffic. But Jupiter and node T-square, and it's like, I'm stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
I just want to go on vacation, but I'm stuck in traffic. Or I got to get to my job, but I'm stuck in traffic. I got to get to my job at the bar. Yeah.
Can't go right, can't go left.
Can't go right, can't go left. Narrow strip of pathway.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Oh, stuck in the middle with you.
Sometimes they just boil down to old rock and roll songs.
Yeah.
The whole theme of the moon. Well, do you want to say anything to maybe wrap it up for folks?
I think I would look at like what your houses are. Really pay attention to what's going on in whatever house Capricorn is for you, because that's where the bulk of the action has been recently. What's Capricorn? Pay attention to the messages from Venus and Mercury both being retrograde. Like you're gonna have to go back over things. The South Node wants you to go back over things too and let go of them. So it's a really crucial time to figure out what the fuck to drop so you can move forward to hopefully a better place.
That's great. I read some great advice once. I had to clean out an area, and I was, like Marie Kondoing something. Is that the language we use?
Yeah.
And the advice was, you have 3 piles. One, I'm keeping it. One, I'm getting rid of it. And one, I don't know what I'm doing with it. And what you don't know what you're doing with it, you still gather it together and you set it aside. And the advice is you go ahead and put it in a box, label it, and put it away for 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you don't get into it between now and 6 months, then it goes in the no pile. You really don't value it. So it's a great way to clean up when you don't know what to do with all the stuff.
Yeah, I think I have 4 of those boxes sitting in front of me right now.
There you go. I think that this is kind of where we're at in our lives right now. We need to go back through and reprioritize, what do we really value? And it might be as simple as cleaning out your closet. I want to keep this for sure. I know I don't want that. What about this stuff? And that may be the stuff that we're actually looking at through the bottom of the boat. That's the stuff that we're really reevaluating is, why is this even in my life? And I mean, on a broader level, why are we still in 2022 unable to achieve Martin Luther King's dream? Why do Black parents have to worry about their babies being murdered? I mean, I don't think that's...
Why can't we teach the truth about history in school?
Yeah.
Can we actually value a multiracial democracy?
So the only way it makes any sense is 3 steps backward, 1 step forward. I don't know, but I'm hoping that, you know, there that this is a time period where on a broader level, we're revaluing those things that both individually and collectively are important to us. And I am a Pollyanna, so I tend to think that on more than one level, people are really alike. And we value safety and security and love and family and closeness and you know that what is driving us apart is interests that is hidden. And if those interests can be exposed, then we can find a way to value more effectively, more honestly.
Because there truly are and always have been people who value hierarchy.
Yep.
That's the social order that they believe to be the right social order, and that's the social order they want, and they're going to work to make it happen.
Yep, exactly. That's
and,
right.
And I'm more of the opinion that hierarchy is like the foundational root of all of our problems.
You know, that's so interesting. Tom Hartman just wrote a book on that topic that's so interesting. I won't digress there, but I'll talk to you about it another time, but it's fascinating. And
I'd love to talk to you about too. We'll talk about it another time.
yeah, but there's huge amounts of ways that we value and don't value. But again, I think that we have more in common than we have not in common.
Definitely.
It's just not letting these hierarchical influences separate us out so that we don't realize we have the same values.
Right. Influences and infrastructures.
Yeah, exactly how it's structured to separate.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun and interesting discussion, and I think this will be a enlightening new moon or full moon. I think we're going to get a culmination of something.
I hope so. I hope it's a good one for everybody out there.
Me too. Well, thanks for helping me suss it out, Kat.
Yeah, thanks, Micki.
Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.